Trump administration is trying to evict thousands of immigrant tenants in public housing in Los Angeles. I'm Faiza Malik. I'm running for LA City Council District 11. I'm here at City Hall with public housing residents and advocates who are raising the alarm around a new rule from the Trump administration that is seeking to evict immigrants from public housing. It's called the mixed status rule.
Alto, un alto a esto, por favor. Apóyennos. Necesitamos más viviendas públicas para la comunidad.
Right now, HUD is taking public comment from people. We need to make sure that we are flooding HUD with comments to say that we should reject this cruel rule that is going to lead to the
Los Angeles rejects this attacks on our families. We're going to flood HUD. What are we going to do? We're going to flood HUD. Flood HUD. Flood HUD. Flood HUD. Los Angeles.
Boy. So we got to talk about more liberal meltdowns. Democrats boohoo, whining, crying over illegal immigrants, okay? The Trump administration has done a great job at cracking down on illegal immigration and also cracking down on any reasons for why somebody would want to try to come into the country illegally, right? A lot of times people are coming into the country because they know that they can get access to our social safety net, that they can get access to food stamps, to Section 8 housing, to our welfare system, and they live off the welfare system while at the same time not really contributing as much as liberals claim that they contribute, right? They are a strain on our system, okay? You know this because anytime you're trying to move these illegals into wealthy, affluent white areas, right, liberal white areas, they start crying, right? They start losing their minds, okay? And we've seen these liberal cities spend hundreds of millions, billions of dollars on taking care of illegals, right? So with that being said, we got to talk about a new rule that is coming from the housing department within the Trump administration that basically is going to ban illegals from getting access to Section 8 housing. Because once again, although on paper illegals aren't eligible for this government benefit, just like food stamps, there are loopholes that allow them to get access to the benefits anyways, right? Just like healthcare, food stamps. Yes, illegals do get access to this stuff, and that is why Democrats are currently panicking over the fact that Republicans are moving to not allow so-called mixed status families to get access to Section 8 vouchers. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
Okay, well, as the Trump administration continues to focus on illegal immigration enforcement, that while a war is going on in Iran, there is a new proposed rule targeting rental help for mixed status immigrant households.
NBC7's MG Perez tells us the change targets millions of people surviving with Section 8 vouchers.
The HUD rule being proposed would no longer allow mixed status families to live together.
That's the hard truth Gilberto Vera wants you to know. He's with the Legal Aid Society of San Diego. The nonprofit law firm is ready to offer free legal services to lower-income renters who use Section 8 federal funding. In this proposal from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD moves to close mixed-status households, ending a so-called roommate loophole. Vera says in most cases they aren't roommates, they're family members who are not yet U.S. citizens.
It would force households and families to essentially either split up or lose a very valuable housing subsidy.
Right now, if a family wants to qualify for Section 8 vouchers in one of these apartments, for instance, as long as one of them is legally documented, the rest of the family can live here too. HUD is direct in the change it wants to make to the law, saying, quote, illegals, ineligibles, and fraudsters, pack your bags, end quote.
Yeah, so basically what they're doing is that they're saying, listen, you cannot have an illegal immigrant living with you while you are receiving Section 8 vouchers, right? If you are receiving money from the federal government, okay, to put a roof over your head, you cannot then use that money to house illegal immigrants, which makes sense. Again, this is the loophole that allows illegals to be able to get access to Section 8 housing, is that they have individuals who will allow illegals to stay with them while at the same time receiving Section 8. And on top of that, the illegals will probably work under the table and then end up paying the person that they're staying with who is receiving Section 8 housing vouchers, paying them rent, right? Giving them a kickback for allowing them to stay there. while at the same time they're being subsidized by the government. So all of this stuff is under the table. This is happening a lot across the country, and the Trump administration is cracking down on it.
So they would have to choose between keeping this subsidy that for many might be the only thing keeping them from homelessness, or removing a household member.
Well, I mean, let's be real here, right? If they don't want to be homeless, then they get a job, right? Okay? Get off the Section 8, get a job, okay? Work 2 jobs, 3 jobs if you have to, and then you ain't got to worry about it. You can house whoever you want, right? But you probably shouldn't be housing illegals, whether you are getting money from the government or not. You shouldn't be housing illegals. But to get around this problem, right? Hey, don't live off the government, right? Get a job, right? Get a job, and you don't have to deal with this specific issue.
San Diego Housing Commission has the largest Section 8 voucher program in the city of San Diego. This complex in City Heights is one of the places families can live, Juniper 1 and Juniper 2. More than 16,000 low-income households in the city of San Diego receive Section 8. These dots on a map show apartments where families live that the new proposal could potentially impact. In a written statement, Scott Marshall with the San Diego Housing Commission told NBC7 SDHC is closely reviewing the proposed rule. We will communicate with our rental assistance families directly about any impacts they may experience if the rule is adopted.
That is just going to increase the amount of admin and time staff spent to implement this in situations where current housing authorities barely have enough money to operate their current programs.
There is still time for families with Section 8 housing to be heard on this proposal. HUD will accept public input until April 21st. After that, a decision will be made on whether to change the policy or not. MG Perez, NBC7.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, you do have some Republicans at the state level who are getting ahead of this, and they're saying, you know what, we're going to just ban this using legislation in the state where we're going to restrict benefits to so-called mixed citizenship households, right? Mixed status households. So without further ado, let's learn about what's going on in Oklahoma and how Democrats are having a full-blown meltdown over this.
Oklahoma lawmakers are battling it out over 2 highly controversial bills. Both would require state agencies to report families who are undocumented.
Both bills passed the House today, but after a lot of argument, News 4's Dylan Brown is in studio. He's not in studio. He's at the Capitol to explain the issue lawmakers have with the bills. Dylan.
Yeah, Kevin, Heather, I'm here at the Capitol. So let me break this down real quick. Right now in Oklahoma, documented children can apply and receive benefits like SNAP, Medicaid and such, even if their parents are undocumented. So these bills, it passed, they don't completely stop these families from receiving it, but more than likely those undocumented parents would be scared to even try and apply for them. House Speaker Kyle Hilbert wants to have state agencies work with DHS and ICE, alerting them to those who apply for Medicaid, SNAP, and TANF if they aren't documented. The issue lawmakers say mixed status families, kids who are documented but their parents aren't, might not apply anymore. Democrats pushing Republicans Thursday.
How many folks are undocumented who are actually trying to access these services right now in the state of Oklahoma?
Conversations like this.
A ton of them, right? A ton of them. If they weren't trying to do it, then you wouldn't be opposed to it, right? Democrats, again, they think that people are stupid. They keep telling us that these things don't exist. If they don't exist, then why are you opposed to cracking down on something that doesn't happen? If illegals don't get access to food stamps, if they don't get access to Medicaid, right, free health care, if they don't get all this stuff that you claim they get, why are you opposed to cracking down on it, right? It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. Their opposition tells you everything you need to know.
Continue to push families into the shadows.
Republicans not answering several of the questions.
Definitely waste when somebody who is here illegally is getting those benefits. Somebody that is here illegally needs to be deported to their country of origin.
Another argument from lawmakers, the system needs to be fixed to not punish the poorest Oklahomans, as those who are undocumented don't get the benefits already.
Well, if that's the case, then I don't understand the opposition.
The 2 bills passed the House Thursday.
Stand up and show your support. The first duty of American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
False dichotomy.
It now heads to the Senate.
False dichotomy, right? False dichotomy is not a false dichotomy. It's very simple. The first duty of these politicians, right, these lawmakers, is to protect American citizens, not illegals. You would think it'd be straightforward. But for whatever reason, Democrats get really upset when questions like this are asked, right? When they're asked to show whether or not they agree with this statement about putting Americans first before illegals, they got a problem with it. It should tell you everything you need to know about who these Democrats are fighting for, right? These people, they might as well just represent illegals at this point, right? That's who they care about the most. Think about it. Ever since Trump got in office, right? What have Democrats done? What have they spent the most energy on? They spent the most energy on immigration, right? Protecting illegals. That is who they've been fighting for the hardest. Where's the Democrat plan on affordability? Where's the Democrat plan on inflation? On anything, really, right? Outside of immigration, what is their plan on anything? They have no plan. They'll turn around and boo-hoo, whine, and cry, about Trump, but Democrats don't seem to be interested in anything except protecting illegals at this point, right? It's really fascinating stuff.
Where it could likely pass.
So I think those concerns are addressed in the legislation. I mean, that is an American citizen child, so they would continue to be eligible. And I'm happy to talk about it. We can talk about this the whole time if we want, but are there any other...
Yeah, they're eligible, but the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, should be aware that, hey, these illegals, right, are here, right? And again, this is how, these people get access to our social safety net, right? This is the loophole. The loophole is to come over here and have a bunch of kids. This is why we need to get rid of birthright citizenship, and you fix this problem altogether, right? Because it's not just these illegals coming over here and then they're having kids and they become citizens, right? The kids become citizens, but also on top of that, it makes it harder to deport the parents, and they get access to our social safety net because they're having these kids, right? And they're incentivized to have as many of them as possible. The more they have, the harder it is to get rid of them, right? Imagine some illegals coming over here and, they don't have 4, 5, 6 kids. Becomes very hard to deport them at that point, right? Unless you want to basically send the whole family back. At that point, technically, you're sending 4, 5, 6 American citizens to another country. They shouldn't be citizens in the first place, but I'm just saying it becomes difficult to deal with these illegals who come over here and have a bunch of kids, right? Anchor babies. So this legislation basically would restrict benefits because it would disincentivize illegals from applying for these benefits because they have a child that's technically a citizen, because they know they'd be reported, right? So if they don't apply, then they don't get access because, again, they're too scared, which is the whole point.
So you all want to talk about as well, yeah.
But the goal of it is to make sure that Oklahomans receive Oklahoma tax dollars. When I pay my taxes, I am very fortunate I don't need to be on SNAP.
They are already ineligible. And so I think it's in order to act like, I don't know. I'm unclear with what problem we're solving there.
So Senator Paxton specifically mentioned this could be a solution for our SNAP error rates, digging into that. But when asked for numbers of undocumented families applying for this or undocumented immigrants in general, no lawmakers could give us those numbers at all. This would go to the Senate. If passed there, it would then go to the governor's desk. Live at the Capitol, Dylan Brown, Oklahoma's News.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, right? Hey, more crackdowns on illegals receiving government benefits, things that Democrats claim it's not happening. But every single time there's a crackdown, these people boo-hoo, whine, and cry, which tells you everything you need to know, okay? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.